Are you stuck at your heaviest weight you've ever been, working a full-time job as an ambitious professional? You're so frustrated that no matter what you're doing, the love handles just won't go away. Even when you are working out in the gym 5 times a week, you're doing endless amount of cardio, you're trying to eat clean. Well, you're not alone in this. Losing the love handles is just one of the toughest areas to lose fat. Even when you, after decades trying to yo-yo dieting, overeating, and you are just not seeing the results that you want and being too exhausted after work staying consistent. Well, here's the truth. Love hands is just fat, and with this science-backed approach, I'm going to show you how you can lose the weight in a sustainable way that is fitting your busy schedule. And the number one key is nutrition. So if you're ready to finally lose the weight, keep it off for good, become the healthiest version of yourself, and feel very confident in your body again, sleep awesome, and just love what you see in the mirror and pictures, this video is definitely for you. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also hit the bell to get notified whenever I'm making a new video about weight loss advice every single week. I used these strategies to lose 60 pounds in 8 months and kept it off for 12 years, and I've helped dozens of men and women just like yourself lose up to 60 pounds and finally escape the yo-yo dieting cycle. If you are tired of constantly losing and gaining the same weight back, I want to help you get you to your healthiest self without giving up the foods that you love. In this video, I'll show you 5 steps that can help you lose the love handles for good. And before I share that advice, you need to understand how love handles are being developed. So you're not getting love handles just from one day of overeating, it's from years of overeating. And when you are trying to lose weight, there's a lot of places where you can lose weight, but if you're also someone who is trying to overeat, you are gaining weight most likely around the abs area, like the stomach area, and then all around the stomach area, like your love handles. And the bad truth is that if you're also trying to lose weight, the less place that you're going to lose weight is around the stomach area and also the love handles, because that's just how the body is structured. Because love handles are just so stubborn, so you are going to lose weight all around your face, your chest, your arms, your legs, and then fuck man, that's the last place you're going to lose is the stomach and the love handles. But you need to understand the nutrition part. That is the number one thing you need to follow. And if you are someone who never heard about maintenance calories, which is basically just the amount of calories you need to maintain your current weight, so if you're have no fucking clue about the maintenance calories and you just eating whatever the fuck that you want, you're just going to gain a lot of weight. And if you're still just being unknowingly eating more and more, you're gaining so much weight. So that's definitely just starting out with figuring out the macrocalculator.net, where you can just figure out the putting in your age, your gender, your activity levels, and your height, and then it's just giving you a amount of calories that you need to eat to maintain the current weight. So you're not losing weight, you're not gaining weight. And from there, we just start out with subtracting the amount of calorie with 200 or 500. I always recommend like 200 if you're someone who is starting out. And if you are someone who is like having like 20, 30 kilo or 60 pounds to lose, maybe just starting out with 500 calorie deficit, because the calorie deficit is something that is going to promote losing fat. So you are losing fat all around your body, but sometimes it's just not visible because you have a lot of things that you need to lose, and it takes time. You need to be patient. Losing 1 to 2 pounds a week is definitely something that is advisable because it's also sustainable for you. If you are crash dieting and just eating 500 calories, if you really need to be, if your maintenance are 2000 calories and you eat 500 calories below, that's like 1500 calories, and you eat 500 calories, you are just not having a weight loss plan that's sustainable because you're not fueling your body enough and you're crash dieting, you're fucking up your metabolism. So when you are like 200 or 500 calorie deficit, your metabolism is working fully functioning, and you want to eat as much as possible when you're trying to lose weight. And then you want to have a 45% of your daily calories come from protein, because protein helps you with keeping your muscle mass when you're trying to lose weight. So you are only focusing on burning as much fat as possible because you're on a weight loss journey and you want to lose as much fat as possible. So also the higher protein diet helps you reducing the cravings, which is just one of the most difficult things that you are stuck on when you are trying to lose weight, because lower calories just signals to the body that you are hungry and you have more cravings. So definitely just eating more protein, like for example, myself, I'm getting like 250 grams of protein. So what I'm basically just doing is I'm getting like a protein shaker, 60 grams of whey protein from my protein, 400 grams skimmed milk for the first meal, and then I also have like a couple of whole wheat toast and some low fat butter and like say low fat cookies, for example, because just the sweetness from that just reduces the cravings as well. And then for the second meal, I'm just having 200 grams of chicken, 100 grams of salmon, two, 3 eggs, and a whole bowl of pasta and some, it could be some tomato sauce on top of that. Because if you already figured out how much protein you need to get on a single day, it's just easy to spread it out with focusing on the kind of protein sources that are high quality and also have lean beef, turkey. Yeah, that's some of the things that you can eat. And then 40 grams of carbs, because carbs is essentially just good for you to help you recover. And there's a distinction between fast digestible carbs and low and slow digestible carbs. So I always recommend that you get like 40 grams of carbs after you work out, because you just mentally drain after you've been pushing yourself to failure. So you want to replenish your glycogen stores where you're just feeling that you have a lot of energy again, recover after you're working out to be able to be more focused at work. And then you want to focusing on slow digestible carbs. That's like the whole wheat bread, whole wheat pasta, quinoa, bulgur. There's a lot of things that you can eat. And you want to switch that up with having like 20 or 40 grams of fibers into your diet, because that helps you have stable blood sugar and you have a more sustainable energy levels throughout the day. And you also want to mix it up with fast digestible carbs, because if you're eating like whole wheat whatever and also oatmeal throughout the day, you're feeling so, I'll say you're feeling so full all the time. So switching up with fast digestible carbs could be like, instead of whole wheat bread all the time, just white bread is also fine. You can eat a couple of protein bars, and you can eat, for example, low fat cookies, or it could be normal cookies or Twix bar, because at the end of the day, it's just if you're following 90% of your diet coming from whole wheat foods, high quality meat, the 10% is not going to do a big difference as long as your body is registered it getting a lot of the calories that you really need. It doesn't distinguish so much about the less 10-20% of your diet coming from, like, I wouldn't say unhealthy food, but just food that is not normally part of our weight loss plan. Because it's when you're trying to lose weight, the second part is you want to make it sustainable. Sustainable is just eating foods that you normally enjoy, but you also have to switch it up to make sure that you are hitting your, for example, macros. Like if you're someone who's just normally eating whatever you want, that's also a reason why you're gaining a lot of weight. So if you change it up with more high quality protein sources, maybe lower in fat, and you also change it up with have some more vegetables, and you are just eating more, like for example some protein shakers that can help you hit the protein requirements for each day, you're going to hit the macros and you're going to feel a lot more satiated and full throughout the day and have more stable energy levels when you are at work talking with clients and doing presentation, and get a lot more career opportunities. So I always recommend you go to my fitness part. You get the premium subscription where you can get to discovery of recipes where there are a lot of different kinds of meals you can use to eat whatever foods that you want. And there's also suggestions in regards to the calories, the protein, the carbs, and the fat, because it's just easier when you can drag and drop and adjust the amount of protein you want to get. So it's very fun to do that. It's very graphic, so you can see how the meal plans are looking like the meals, and also what kind of ingredients that you can have. So the third thing that you need to be aware of when you're trying to lose the weight is focusing on strength training, because if you are in a calorie deficit, losing weight is automatically going to be much easier and more fun, because if you're trying to lose weight, you want to, in my opinion, structuring the body in a way that you are getting an hourglass figure, which basically just means that you have a like thin face, you have a thin like chest, arms, and it's more like looking like a V-taper, which basically means that you have wider shoulders, toned arms, small waist, big thighs, so it looks like an hourglass. And how to do that is just that you are packing on muscles by working out the upper part of your body, like the shoulders. If you want to have 3D shoulders, which basically helps you create that hourglass figure, you need to hit the front part of the shoulder, the side part of the shoulder, and the back part of the shoulder. And you want to work on the upper area of your chest. And also when you are doing workouts from the back, you want to target the upper part of the back area, because, and also this is like the wings of the back, because that's going to accentuate the way you are looking with having an hourglass. And around the stomach, it's just about being in calorie deficit for a prolonged period of time until you lose all the weight, and then you don't have any more fat around the waist. And when you are working out, you definitely should focusing on compound movements, basically mean that you are targeting several muscle groups at a time. For example, if you're working out your chest area, like the upper part of your chest area, you are using like incline barbell press, where you're targeting upper part of this area. And then you also target the triceps. And these are some of the most demanding exercises you will get to know. And when you've been incorporating like 2 or 3 of these compound movements, and you're focusing on progressive overload, where you are starting out with set 1, you're doing 10 to 12 reps with light weight. It could be like 10 kilos, and just to get some blood flow out, so you having a better mind muscle connection, so you can feel the muscle being worked. So if you are struggling with not knowing how to perform the weight, you are not going to get that mind muscle connection, because the better mind muscle connection you have with breaking down the whole muscle, the faster you are going to rebuild that through just diet and also rest. So if you are at 10 kilos right now, you need to, for the next set, rest, and then you amp it up to, for example, 12 or 15, and then you perform that with like 1 to 2 reps before failure, because you're pushing yourself as much as possible. The higher intensity you have with progressive overload, with getting as much weight on, have low rest period, the more intensity you will build, and the faster you will build muscle. Of course, you also need to have the diet in check, which is just one of the things. But if you're constantly trying to push yourself and tracking your whole workouts, getting stronger, you will burn 100 or 200 calories more even at rest. So you're going to lose weight at a much faster rate. And you also want to focusing on, for example, the cardio aspect, where you are, for example, doing cardio on a cross trainer or stationary bike after you've been working out with the compound movements and isolation movements, where you just target a specific muscle group. That could be like the cable flies for the chest area. And then you do the cardio because you want to understand that cardio is just a supplementary way to lose weight. If you are wanting to amp up the efforts to lose weight even faster, instead of 1 pound a week, you can amp it up to 2 pounds a week. So of course you need to expand even more energy, because essentially it's just math. You need to just do more to lose more, and it's going to be tough. But if there's resistance, you can lose much more weight because of you just putting in more work. And you also want to focusing on doing it after your workout, because the most important thing is you have a lot of energy to focusing on the strength workout, and then you're just burning more calories from the cardio machines. And then you also want to focusing on the steps on a daily basis. Download a step app where you are going for 6,000 steps a day, and the longer that you've been doing that, you're tracking that through having your telephone on you the whole day, you'll just burn even more fat. So cardio and also the steps, that's going to be a game changer for you. And the fourth tip that you have to be aware of when you're trying to lose weight and getting the love handles being away is focusing on your sleep. I see too many people who are not prioritizing their sleep when they're trying to lose weight, because if you are having a very stressful life and you are sleeping like 2 3 hours a day, you're not going to set you up for long-term sustainability, because you need to have a lot of energy and mental focus as an ambitious professional at work, and have a lot more clarity when you're doing the presentations and just be fully function. You also need to be able to have a lot of energy to work out. For example, if you're someone who are depriving yourself with a lot of no sleep, you're just increasing your cortisol levels, which basically just makes it very difficult for you to lose weight, because if you're increasing your stress levels and your cortisol levels, you're just holding on to the fat, so it's very tough to lose weight. So that's why I always recommend that you have as less stress in your life as possible. So that's why it's a very good idea to just work out 4 or 5 times a week with strength training, and then for the next couple of days you are resting. I, for example, always focusing on my rest days to stretch using a foam roller. Stretching is very important if you want to have a good mind muscle connection, because if you want to target a specific muscle group, you also have to be flexible enough to do that. A lot of the exercises are requiring that you have some mobility, and by stretching, you can just Google how to stretch for beginners, because that's just easier. And if you are someone who's working like 4 or 5 times a week with the strength training, you also need to using the foam roller for specific areas of your body that is having a lot of tightness. So by foam rolling that area, you're going to soften and also like feeling that all the tension in the muscle areas are being reduced, so you can, for the next couple of weeks, focusing on working out with full range of motion. And yeah, that's basically just the fourth thing that you need to be aware of. I would also love to know, what is your biggest takeaway from the video so far. Just comment below and let me know. And the last thing is, for example, free meals. Free meals is so awesome, because if you're someone who is on a weight loss journey and you are hitting plateaus and you are, for example, reducing the metabolism after you've been dieting for 1 or 2 weeks, what you should focusing on is free meals is just a way to say that you need to increase the amount of calories you're eating, like 750 or 800 calories on top of the, for example, 1500 calories you're eating now. Because if you are imagining that you are someone who's not on this earth to lose weight, you're someone to survive. So if you are constantly following that calorie deficit diet of 1500 calories, your body's just registering that, oh shit, I'm just eating way less than I need, and then after some time it's trying to shut down because it wants to preserve its energy to survive. So you just introducing more calories than you usually would. It could be like a Saturday evening, you're going out with your family or your girlfriend, you're eating more, and then you are eating most of it from the carbs. The carbs are going to give you a lot of energy and going to spike up your metabolism. So the next couple of days, not only are you getting a lot more focus, you're feeling more fuller. The muscles around your body, in your body, is not only looking flat, it's going to look more full, and you have a lot more energy and focus. So that's definitely going to help you. So I always recommend that you put in like a free meal every single week, depending on how things are going. And yeah, that's basically just how you would lose the love handles permanently for good with these 5 key strategies. If you're ready to finally lose the weight for good and become the healthiest version of yourself, just like you've seen with the transformation pictures in the beginning of the video, there's a link in the description in the comment section you can click to apply for coaching with me, and we'll hop on a Zoom call to talk together and see if you're fit for my program and how we can help you build a sustainable plan to lose the weight and keep it off.